I'm here at Phillips Corporation. I'm sitting here with Randy, and we're going to dig into how Phillips makes additive manufacturing safe. Randy, man, you got to help me out because you're talking about putting a welding head inside a CNC, and I freak out.
Right.
So how does Phillips keep us safe, man?
Yeah, so, a lot of concerns people have about welding inside a machine specifically is you've got sensitive electronics, you've got servo drives, all kinds of stuff like that, right? So one of our goals was to eliminate that from the situation entirely.
Yeah.
So we've effectively created a bubble around the welding process. And
Oh, wow.
how we've
Okay.
done that is we have a custom cooling plate on the table.
Yep.
So that not only cools the part, it also protects the machine, right? Because you have all that
Oh.
heat from the welding process. We don't want that getting down to the motion components of the table.
Okay, but what about because you need an arc and stuff for that.
Sure, yeah.
So what happens with that? Does it not ground out through the machine?
So the other aspect of the cooling plate is it's electrically insulated from the machine,
Okay.
and we have a ground cable attached to it, right? So in
Oh.
the case of a multi-axis machine like this, you've
Yeah.
got infinite rotation to deal with. So we have a custom rotary ground on the bottom.
Yeah.
So that allows you to rotate infinitely, and that's where our ground is attached.
Oh, man.
So it's attached up through the bottom of the table,
Yeah.
and it attaches basically directly to the cooling plate, but
That
there's
is so
nothing
cool.
touching the machine components itself.
Wait, okay, but you've got a custom rotary union in there, you said.
Yes.
Does that limit then any of the functionality? Do I lose any axes on like my UMC if I had one?
Nope. You have complete travel of the machine.
Really?
The only thing you kind of give up, I guess, is you've got a little bit of height added to your table for your
Yeah.
cooling plate.
There's a dead space like built into most machine tools now. So many people are doing 0-point clamping systems that I've seen so many machine tool builders leaving a little bit dead room anyway. So that's not a big deal.
Yeah. It's effectively a fixture plate. It also gives us points on the table to attach our clamps. So in this case, on this plate, we have a grid of tapped holes
Yeah.
that support a variety of clamps. We can offer a custom solution with a hole pattern specific to your work holding, too.
That is so neat. Okay, so we're grounded electrically. We don't have to worry about that. We're sealed away, and we don't lose any freedom of movement of the 5-axis machine. We still have all of that. But what about like a welding envelope? Am I going to have to sacrifice the size of my parts to make this work?
No, so what we've done is we actually set out from the start to maximize the additive envelope of the machine.
Yeah.
So what you'll notice here is our torch is actually very close to the spindle.
Wow,
So it took a lot of engineering to get there, but we have effectively a two-stage deployment mechanism. So this torch actually swings over before it retracts up, and then on the way down.
Wait, it retracts?
Yes.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question. I was like, it's hanging out there. Am I going to get covered in coolant? Do I have to clean this thing? But it fully retracts away.
Absolutely, yeah. So it retracts up into the enclosure of the deployment here.
Yeah.
And so that protects the torch from any kind of contaminants. It also gets it out of the way so you have adequate clearance for machining.
Or I could put like a giant cutter in there still.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other aspect of this angled torch here is you get a lot better axis. So when your B axis is tilted up at 90, if you're printing on the side of a shaft or something, for
Yeah.
example, you get a lot better clearance here having the torch angled like that. So.
Oh, that's so much thoughtfulness that's been put into this. Okay, but I'm not a complete dummy, man. I know that when you're welding, you're not supposed to look at it. You can go blind, and cataracts is a thing. So if I wanted to be able to watch this as a machinist, I love to watch things work. Can I still do that with this system, or how does that work?
Absolutely. So we do have welding shades on all the windows to protect your eyes for safety.
Okay.
But to give you that perspective inside the machine, we actually have a camera system installed.
Oh, wow.
So we have CCTV cameras inside the machine, and then we have the tablet up here that you can see that's providing a live feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
How live is it though, man? I've seen some of these systems before. There's a lot of latency, a little bit of motion sickness for me personally. I'm sensitive to that stuff.
Yep, I'm glad you asked that. So we actually, we've tried a couple different camera vendors out. We did have some initial concerns with latency like that, where you have a delay. We recently just switched camera providers, and we now have an IP67 rated camera, so it's protected against coolant and everything, and it's also near real time. So I can wave my hand here, and there's effectively no delay. Right.
That is so cool. It's very clear that Phillips, that the company, you guys put a lot of thought into making this as easy as possible for anyone out there. So my last question, we haven't really touched this, is it only for new machine tools, or can I do this to a machine that I've already got on my floor?
Yeah, we do retrofits as well as new machine installs. The process is the same for both. It takes about the same amount of time. I would say currently, maybe 50% of the machines we do are new and 50% are retrofits. So we're certainly able to come onto your shop. If you already have a Haas machine, you want to turn it into a hybrid, we can do that.